Hi, it's Brenda with Luke's, and today we're going to talk about a hooping technique and design positioning to make sure that what you want to stitch stitches where you want it to be. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our friction pen and a ruler, and we are going to draw a line connecting the nodes in our hoop. And this works for both Viking, Janome, Elna, and most embroidery machines. What I've identified is the center of the stitchable area, not the center of the hoop. That would be up here. There's an area up here where your embroidery foot will run and it will not stitch. So that's the center of my stitchable area. Next, we're going to take our project. This happens to be a tote bag. Doesn't look like much of a tote bag, but we're pretending. My design is 5 inches wide and 4 inches tall. So I know that this point that I'm identifying, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, and then with the height, 2 inches below, 2 inches above. In other words, I've just identified those same points on my project. I take my temporary adhesive, give a spritz on my hoop, then the magic. I'm going to take a push pin. I'm pushing from the back to the front, and I am pushing through the center of the stitchable area. And now I'm going to position the third point. And the third point goes in the line right down here at the bottom. And that creates a triangle, identifying 3 points. Now I will tell you this, I've got 3 points, which is a strong shape. If I'm doing something that is a heavy project or something that's very stretchy, like a sweatshirt, I might do 5 points just to identify the points. Now this is just on the stabilizer. Now I'm going to take my tote bag or my project, and you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that center point and put it right down on that center push pin. Then I am pulling that project down, and I'm going to put that line right on the second push pin. And then of course stretching this over to the side on the third. So what I've done is I've identified the exact same 3 points in the hoop and on my project. So this is hooped exactly where it needs to be. Now if this is a heavy project, I'll go one step further. I'll use these little mini erasers to hold my project on the hoop so I can transport it to the machine. Okay, and again, I can use as many as 5 or as many as I like. Now this is a small project, so I'm going to, I've got my temporary adhesive, I'm going to take the pins out, smooth my project, and take it over to the machine. Okay, so we've identified that center point. Now we need to confirm that the machine has the same center point on record. So we've got our design up. We're going to go to our stitch out screen, and this happens to be on the Epic 2. We're into our stitch out screen. I'm going to attach the hoop, and I do not have the embroidery foot on there so that we can see the needle. I want you to be able to see this very clearly. Okay, so we are now in the stitch out screen, and I'm going into design positioning, which is this flower button. All right, I'm touching this button on my toolbar, and it gives me 4 points. So if I touch these corners, I can actually go around where the design was stitched. But for now, what we're interested is this sweet little button in the middle, the center. So when I touch that button, this needle should be exactly in the center of my X. Well, the Epic 2 is a phenomenal machine, and as you can see, it is calibrated perfectly. That needle is sinking directly into the cross. Good to go? We can stitch it out. Let's go check another machine. Let's take this project, this X, over to the Topaz because it also has design positioning. We're at the Topaz 50. I have my design called up on the screen. Let's go into the stitch out screen. Now I'm in stitch out and the design positioning where we're going to verify that same point on the machine is located right here. I'm going to touch that button, and you see the same, looks familiar, doesn't it? I see the same 4 corners, and right in the middle is that sweet center button. Well, when I'm looking here in the hoop, and I'm going to slide the embroidery foot off just because I think it's easier for you to see, we see that the needle, oh, it is not in the center. I can come back to the machine and using my arrows here, I can drive the hoop so that that needle will meet on that spot. Let's see how close I am now. Guess what? Dead on. Design positioning on the Epic 2, but also on the Topaz. Janome, let's go check it out. All right, we are now on the Elna 920, but this same feature is on the Janome and the Elna embroidery machines, all of them. So let's look how we can verify that point on our project. We're going to go into the designs, selecting the designs. Right up here, I see that it is going to show me all the categories of designs. At the very bottom of all the categories, we see there is, a calibration pattern. Select it. It shows up right in the middle of my stitch out screen, and as you would suspect, I'm going to use the hand wheel to see if that needle is right on that point. It's not. So just like on the Vikings, I use my compass to drive that hoop to the correct position. Oh, I need to go up a little bit. Dead on. Now, on all of our machines, we've identified the center of our project, the center of the stitchable area, and that same point is identified on our machines. Your designs will stitch out where you want them to. Till next time, it's Brenda with Luke's.